All right, welcome back to the show. Our phone lines are open and we're taking your calls. 877-NEWSMAX. That is 877-639-7629. Well, President Trump has read the controversial and disputed surveillance memo that Republicans claim describes FBI misconduct. It is now being reported that the White House will likely send the memo back to Congress for release to the public with redactions by tomorrow, and that the version being declassified by Trump contains technical edits that addressed and answered questions that the FBI had regarding classified and sensitive information. This, as the FBI still disputes the accuracy of the memo, authored by House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes. The memo, of course, accuses the Department of Justice of abusing the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, that's known as FISA, guidelines, in its investigation into former Trump campaign aide Carter Page, whom the DOJ suspected of acting as a foreign agent. FBI Director Christopher Wray has reportedly, according to CNN, urged the president not to release the memo, and he's also being said that he will walk out, he will quit if it is released. Well, I guess we might find out if all of the different reports are true, whether he will in fact do that or not. Joining us now to discuss all this is former federal prosecutor and founder of Freedom Watch, Larry Klayman. Larry, good to see you.
Bill, good to see you too.
Okay, look, Larry, we know that in 2011, the Obama administration secretly changed the rules of FISA. We know this because the Washington Post reported on it 2 years later. We know that they abused the very rules that they changed and overreached even those rules. We know that because the FISA report publicly came out and reprimanded the administration for doing that. So we know, as a matter of record, not as speculation, that the Obama administration did misuse FISA to spy on Americans. So what could be in this memo that could be so much more explosive? I have to admit my imagination's peaked, Larry. What do you think?
The fact, Bill, that it was regard to the president, the fact that this was intended to take out the president before he was elected, to prevent him from being elected president, and also afterwards to get him removed. The fact that the FBI has been working with people who have had this conspiracy, the so-called insurance policy, the secret society to do this. And this is right out of a Hollywood movie, but regrettably, it's true. And I know all about the illegal surveillance. I joined the NSA, as you know, twice in the last few years for illegal surveillance on masses of Americans. We also have a whistleblower, Dennis Montgomery, who says the surveillance was trained on the Supreme Court justices, on judges, on Trump when he was a businessman, on even me. So this is nothing new. And I got to tell you that Wray is threatening to resign if the memo is released. Well, good riddance. I hope, in fact, he does resign, because we need somebody in there who has some strength. This guy's like a kid. He just rolls over. He's protecting his flanks because he's been appointed for a 10-year term. He doesn't want to be stabbed in the back by other FBI agents who are at the high level, who participated in these illegalities. And he's putting his own interests ahead of the interests of the president and the country. I hope he does resign, and we can get somebody in there, frankly, that has some cojones as FBI director.
Oh, goodness, Larry. So isn't this historically backwards? Typically, we would see Democrats asking for more transparency and Republicans working to protect national secrets. How did we end up here?
That's interesting. You know, the thing that's strange, and this is the dichotomy between the left and the right. When I brought cases against the NSA, I had more support on the left than I did on the right in terms of
course, all backwards now.
Yeah, but now, because the president's ox is being gored and their ox is being gored, they have, and all of these agencies, it is a deep state. It is a secret society. It goes far beyond anything that the FBI agent Strzok wrote or his mistress, Lisa Page. This has been out there for a long time. A friend of mine, David Marconi, I've mentioned that before, he's an A-plus film writer in Hollywood, wrote the movie Enemy of the State, where the NSA was spying on everybody. I forget his name, the actor, African-American actor,
Will Smith.
Played that part. Will Smith, along with other actors. And this is something that we've known that's been out there for a very long time, and we have to clean it up. The president now is being the victim of it, and, of course, the American people by extension, because they voted for him. And this was used to destroy a presidency is extremely dangerous. I don't think the American people really understand yet just how serious this is.
You know, today got more interesting. It got weirder. It's already as interesting as it's going to get. It got weirder when Adam Schiff, the ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee, came out and said we didn't vote to release that memo because the memo that got sent over to the president is changed from the memo we voted on. And Chairman Nunes came back and said, look, it was not materially changed. I did some grammatical fix to it, and I answered a question that someone had raised. It sounds reasonable, but here's my question, Larry. Why didn't they fix all of that before they voted on the memo, or what's going on here?
Well, they should have, but you know what? Schiff didn't vote for it, neither did any Democrats. So what's the difference? If all the people on that committee, on the Republican side, the majority, say that this memo is okay, no harm, no foul, in effect. So I don't see that being a big issue. And, of course, Schiff, I mean, he's a completely dishonest individual, in my opinion. He's the congressman from West Hollywood. He should worry about what's going on out there and not worry about whether a few words were changed in a memo. But this is not the type of a situation that should be kept from the American people. And to the extent that Christopher Wray and Rod Rosenstein, who apparently is implicated in this and is worried his career is on the line, they cannot be the final arbiters of whether this memo is released. And I'm sure the president will release it. The president does have guts. The president knows that he's got to take the lead here and not worry about this deep state. They can follow him rather than him following them.
So I was logging onto my Facebook earlier, and a lot of people on the left were saying this is a constitutional crisis. You know, the whole idea that Russia meddled in our election, and now that allegedly the administration is making moves that benefit Russian interests. What do you have to say about all those suspicions?
Well, the Russians, the Democrats, okay, the ultra-left now that controls the party, Bernie Sanders, who took his honeymoon in Moscow. I mean, this is their promised land, Russia. I don't understand what the problem is with Russia. All of a sudden they have a problem because they hate President Trump. But there's nothing wrong in furthering relations with Russia, and to put sanctions on and further have relations deteriorate after the Democrats have done so much to harm it. I think the president made the right decision. And I frankly do not believe the Russians meddled in any great degree in our elections. We shouldn't allow that.
So these deep state agencies are making that up? So when that report came out, that bombshell report that a lot of our, what the conservatives are calling deep state agencies, definitely confirmed that Russia meddled in the election. You don't believe any of those?
I don't believe anything our intelligence agencies say anymore, frankly. I really don't. They've been corrupted. And even the CIA director, Pompeo, who I think is not the right person for that job, and I'm being diplomatic, he's a political establishment figure. They protect their own. And these intelligence agencies are rogue. They've broken away from the American people. I frankly believe little that they say publicly. And, of course, we have the experience of Iraq and Saddam Hussein as proof positive that they sometimes lie to the American people. In fact, they lie a lot.
Well, Larry, I appreciate you coming by and taking the time to visit today. It's good to see you. We always welcome your thoughts here. You can check out Larry's organization website. It is freedomwatchusa.org. And as we wrap up this segment, I have to say one of the things I think is worth everyone remembering in this, David, is that Nunes has said, and I know that you may think Nunes is totally partisan, but this part's true. The FBI, remember, stalled about providing information. They did not want to cooperate with this committee. The only reason the committee got any information was because Nunes threatened to slap a contempt of Congress on them, and they reluctantly complied with subpoenas, not to provide information, so that it does get more intriguing in terms of where this thing's going to go. So stay tuned. The memo may be out tomorrow. All right, coming up, new ways for your employer to track you. How appropriate. That, no domestic stories after the break.